It's a new week. It's a new team. We gotta hope this is a new week for the New York Giants. Forget about what happened week one. Just go into week two knowing it's a brand new week, it's a brand new team, and a brand new chance for your team to redeem themselves. Another week of the NFL season is about to be upon us. And this week, the New York Giants will head down to Glendale, Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals. And a must-win game for the New York Giants. Like, they have to win this game, man. It's rare that early on you see this as a must-win game. I mean, pretty much every game should be a must-win for any team, but this is a must-win for the Giants because after this, they're going to face basically a gauntlet of other opponents that are going to be tough tests for the New York Giants. Thursday, we'll take on the San Francisco 49ers. And then after that, I think we take on the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills after that. So like I said, back-to-back hard opponents for the New York Giants. So they need to win this to at least gain them some type of momentum going into these hard games versus these other teams. And unfortunately, despite the fact that the Cardinals are considered one of the worst teams in the NFL as of right now, the New York Giants can't go into this game thinking that the Cardinals are going to be pushovers and thinking this game is going to be easy to them. Because if you watch that game against the Commanders, or if you all saw some of it, the Cardinals were staying in there. They were staying in it for a good part of the game. Fourth quarter, obviously, the game got away from them, and he ended up losing it. So the Cardinals, led by Jonathan Gannon, are not going to be one of those teams that go down without a fight. And I don't expect anything different going against the New York Giants at this point. Now, with that being said, the reason I'm not overly feared about the Cardinals is because of a few things. I'm going back and watching a lot of these sacks going against the Commanders last week. Most of them are either Sam Howell not being aware of his pocket presence, and either that or him holding the ball too long. So while I'm not saying the Cardinals defense is not in some way intimidating, they're not going to be a factor in this game. It's also not to the point where I'm saying, oh my God, I'm so scared. I think they're going to be a factor, but at the end of the day, they're not as big as a factor to the point where I'm saying, oh my God, yeah, this defense is going to clamp us up. We're going to lose. We're going to get slaughtered. It's not to the point where I'm saying that, honestly. But then again, with this Giants offensive line, you really don't have a choice but to be in some way intimidated because of that. Now, this Giants offensive line could struggle versus the worst of teams, in my opinion. And honestly, that's what I fear for going into this game, that their offensive line is not going to be able to hold up versus Cardinals pass rush. I fear for that the most. Now, on the offensive side, I'm not necessarily too worried about, that. Their offensive line is, just as bad as ours or even a little bit worse. Jonathan Allen and the the Commanders defensive line had a field day versus that Cardinals offensive line last week. And honestly, I don't expect anything different in this game with the Giants with Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and everybody else in our D-line. I think they have a chance to dominate this game versus that offensive line for the Cardinals, who has a pretty makeshift one. It's not too good. And honestly, I think that might be one of the only offensive lines in the league better than ours. I mean, one of the only offensive, lines in the league that's worse than ours. They may be even better. I'm not even sure. I look at the Cardinals on paper. This is a game that the Giants should win. Here's the thing. I see a lot of Giants fans on Twitter cowering in fear over the Cardinals over one game. Listen to this. This is not the Cowboys. The Cowboys have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. This is the Cardinals we're talking about. Two different teams in every aspect of football. Coaching, players, everything. This is not the same team as the Cowboys. So I might have to eat my crow if we lose, which I'm completely fine with. I'm going to be confident in my team. So I have no idea why Giants fans are cowering in fear over the Cardinals. This is not the Cowboys, the same team in any way whatsoever. I'm not going to be scared of the Cardinals. I'm just going to keep that in mind right now. And it's not that they're spreading the Cardinals. It's not to undermine them. But I'm pretty sure Cardinals fans will agree with me when I say, like I said, this is not the same team as the Cowboys. Two completely different teams in every aspect. The Giants are going to come into this game ready. They're going to come into this game from all that energy after getting embarrassed on Sunday Night Football at home in front of all their fans. And they're going to bring it into this Cardinals game and use that energy on the Cardinals and win this game. But let's look at the flip side. What if the Giants lose this game? If the Giants lose to the Cardinals, it is time to pack this season up and tank for the rest of the season. Because if it's at a point where you can't even beat one of the worst rosters in the NFL, there's some major questions that need to be asked. Does Daniel Jones need to be the starting quarterback for the future of this Giants team? Or do we need to start finding his replacement? Is this offensive line the reason we lose that game? Is this defensive line not fit enough anymore? There's a lot of questions that are going to be asked if the Giants lose this game. But I'm going to this game confident the Giants can win this game. I look at both sides of the Cardinals team, and it's not necessarily anything that I'm counting with. Obviously, I'm not counting over an offense with Kyler Murray, albeit that Joshua Dobbs did have a very, okay game last week. Everybody else on that team is not necessarily anything that I'm fearing about. Like I said, their defense, despite the fact that they had one of the worst, defense roster-wise, paper-wise, it could be worse, but they were very competent. But like I said, it's not a defensive line that I'm absolutely fearing or cowering over. The only thing that I'm cowering over is that this offensive line might make this defensive line look better than it already is. That's the only thing I fear about. I'll give them their credit. They played well against Commanders. They really did. Now, do I think they'll put some, pressure on Daniel Jones a few times? Maybe so. But I think this offensive line could do play better. Who knows? Maybe I'm just tripping. In this game, the Giants got to go back to their old ways. Keep feeding Saquon the ball. That was one of their main plays last year, and for the most part, it worked. If you're going to have Daniel Jones pass the ball, for God's sake, run some plays where the receivers are going to get open before he gets pressured. That's all we're asking for. We didn't see a lot of that in that game against the Cowboys, obviously, because the Cowboys' defense were already in Daniel Jones' face 1 second after the ball was in his hands. We got to see that more in this game. Running the ball, and if you're going to call passing plays, find ways for those receivers to get open and so Daniel Jones can get the ball to him in stride. For the defensive line of the Giants, you got to go into this game and put pressure on Joshua Dobbs. Like I said, this is not Dak Prescott. This is not one of those older quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts. It's Joshua Dobbs. This is not the same Cowboys offensive line. This is the Cardinals offensive line. You have the ability to put pressure on him. You have the ability to match up and beat it. All these Cardinals offensive lines in these matchups. You got to go into this game and do that. You have a huge advantage over that offensive line. Go into this game, make a statement, and for God's sake, it might be asking a lot, but please blow out the Cardinals. Make a statement. It's not a good team, but you need to make a statement that you're not going down easily. And have some momentum going into a Thursday night slaughterhouse against 49ers, unfortunately. That's what it's going to be. I hate to be pessimistic, but it's going to happen. And with that being said, I am going to wrap the video up here. Hopefully after week 2, I'm better mentally and I can make a video about how we won the game and not how we lost like last week. But other than that, it's your boy Philly. You already know what to do if you haven't yet. Go and subscribe to my channel. Tap the bell icon for future football content. Follow all my social medias down below in the description. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that we down below in the description. And I will hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.